everybody. Welcome to I Think This Is Great with Clay Inferno. I am here with my very old friend, almost, you could say, classmate for MassArt, Ben Sisto, who has a film that's screening at the Alamo Drafthouse. And welcome, Ben. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, MassArt sticking together after all these years. It's good to see you and talk to you.
Yeah, and even though you are technically younger than me, our worlds were very similar. So when I was getting into concert marketing and saw the independent stuff that you were doing, I always just considered you a peer and almost like a mentor too, because I was like, wow, the stuff that Ben is doing is really cool. So I remember asking you like for advice. I was like, should I be doing this? Like, when should I send out a press release? This is like before even social media, really, you know?
Yeah,
And you
well,
always gave great advice.
I don't know if anyone should have been asking like a mid-20s Ben Sisto for advice. Yeah, no, I always appreciated that there was like a lot of people around Boston that, like you and like Deb with Exemius Productions and Dan Hirsch. There's so many people with their like little sub pockets and in scenes.
Mm-hmm.
It was a cool place just to see like that network kind of grow and support each other. Yeah, it was good times.
And you've had like an interesting career before we talk about the movie. You've been, I don't know if you're in Brooklyn, you said, but I don't know if you'd moved all around the country doing other projects and things like that. So what's been going on the last 20 years in a nutshell?
Yeah. Oh, 20 years. Easy. Well, um, right now I'm living in Providence, Rhode Island. We are those people who were in Brooklyn and escaped during the pandemic. But I was in Brooklyn from like 2008 up until then, and we had a child, and when she turned about 3, I don't know. Brooklyn's great. I loved it. I had a great time there, but just
Mm-hmm.
needed more space. And I was born in Providence, so it was very nice to come back here. But yeah, after I left Boston, I ran some nightclubs in New York for a while. A place called Public Assembly was the main one, and then my friend Greg Bresnitz pulled me out of nightclub world, thankfully. So I didn't I didn't become a lifer, and I went to
Yeah,
work. He brought me over to Ace Hotel, and I was there for a bunch
right.
of years. That was a really great experience where I got to travel and meet just a really really great mix of smart event producers and I don't know, designers and architects and fashion world people. That was really exciting. And yeah, since I moved back here, I've been freelancing, doing odd jobs. Everyone in Providence seems to have like 8 like little side hustles that they're doing. Um, so I've been working with the city on like a public art project that they're doing right now. That's
Excellent.
fun. And yeah, just kind of like living the quasi freelance life, telling myself I'm still an artist.
You're definitely still an artist. And we were talking a little bit before about my friend Bridget, who just opened up her spot down there doing the thrift store, secondhand clothes, lots of cool stuff. And you're right, like my vibe of Providence, and like I've dated girls from there. I love going there. Like Providence is a really special city. It's very different than Boston. And like I performed at Fort Thunder. It was me and Duncan. And I always tell the story just because it's funny. The person who opened for us at our spoken word show was this tall, kind of scary but friendly looking guy that had a boom box, and he came up and he pressed play on the boom box, and that person that opened for us was Andrew WK.
Man, amazing.
The art culture down there, and like you're saying, like hustling, and it just is culturally is a really great place.
Yeah, I find Providence to be a very like friendly place. When I first moved here, I was like, oh, I don't really know that many people. I just cold emailed everybody I could find, like anyone that
Mm-hmm.
worked at a grants issuing organization or a gallery or whatever, and just said,
Mm-hmm.
can we please get coffee with like zero agenda? And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, I had coffee over that year with like 50 or 60 people, and like
Mm-hmm.
it's a small place and everyone's kind of happy to support each other. I don't know. Yeah, it's a nice place to have a kid. I miss aspects of Boston, but I'm like kind of, I think after New York, I'm done with like large city. I like,
Yeah,
yeah.
Boston, you can come visit. It's only like 40 minutes away.
Yeah. I sometimes try to think when I went up there, I get tattooed. Well, it's not, I guess, in Cambridge at Redemption. And
Hmm.
I went up to see when this band Orchid played at they
Oh,
did like
yeah.
a reunion show, like Brad from Orchid's he's my friend and an old roommate. So we went up to see that. That was awesome. Yeah, I gotta get back up there more. Well, soon I'll be up there soon, I guess, for the movie. So
You'll be up here soon for now. The thing that was studied at MassArt was Studio for Interrelated Media. What does that mean? You have to explain to people. It's like you can do anything. And I don't necessarily think of you as a filmmaker type, but I do see you as someone that could be obsessed with something type and make art from there. How did you get into filmmaking and making this movie, Who Let the Dogs Out?
yeah, to be clear, I am not a filmmaker. What sort of happened with this is I was doing like a speaking tour, sort of like a TED Talk style kind of
Mm-hmm.
multimedia presentation on
Mm-hmm.
the intellectual history or intellectual property law history behind the song "Who Let the Dogs Out." I sort of mistakenly found out that it was like a complex legal web full of like really interesting characters. And as
Mm-hmm.
I was doing those speaking tours, my friend Brian met this. I think he had met, I put him on a list for an event at Ace Hotel LA for this documentary called Pistol Shrimps, which was about Chelsea Peretti's. I think it's Chelsea Peretti had like a basketball team. The director who
Oh,
made
wow.
that, yeah. So Brian met the director and he was like, if you like weird offbeat stories, you should go meet my friend Ben. So then Hodgee Films crew, the people who actually made the movie, came to see me
Mm-hmm.
speak, and they happened to be in town when I was speaking at MassArt of all places. And they kind of watched the presentation and were like, "Oh, you wrote a movie?" And I was like, "What do you?" And I guess like the way I structured the presentation, they
Mm-hmm.
thought so. They were sort of like, "You've already done all of this research, you've done all that stuff," but they were the ones that kind of they've got the red cameras, they got the pro sound studio, they know how to do like.
Yep. Yeah.
So we kind of worked together and found like a middle ground that I think is I don't know, it's a really great exercise in like teamwork, I guess, and compromise. A lot of
Yeah.
the things that
Right.
I've done in my life are very like self-directed, but with a movie,
Mm-hmm.
there's financiers, sound people have an opinion, the director has an opinion, like
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot together. And I think the final product is like, yeah, I think it's a movie that is going to sound very corny, but when I see it, I'm like, friends that I made, it's like the thing that's
Yep.
really nice about art is just meeting people and making stuff together, but definitely didn't expect to make a movie for sure.
Well, you have plenty of experience with collaboration and with collaboration in the art space. So I guess like kind of coming from a lot of where we come from, which is like more like music or event based movies, just kind of a different scale of all that, right?
Yeah,
So
some of the like the being in like nightlife for a while is really helpful because I've like done a lot of like contract reviews. So,
hmm.
there's like that stuff comes up in filmmaking or just like the idea of like routing and scheduling, yeah, a lot of that stuff. I have found that actually most of life is very similar to like running a nightclub, now like with my daughter.
Right.
Like I look at her schedule. I'm like, all right, Tuesdays we got like soccer. Wednesdays we got this, but we're gonna load in a little early for parking. It's
Yep.
very like, yeah.
That's funny because I guess I'm like the default like travel agent here. I think of the same thing, like, like what time do we have to be at the airport? Like we should be packed the night before, and then like when we get there, we'll have this amount of time. And actually, you know what? We can save on an Uber. There's a train that goes right to the hotel. We're gonna do that. I do that sort of thing too. Yeah, you're right. It sort of rhymes with each other, but I think I find myself very fortunate, and it's like a little tough to say that, like, especially in today's world, that we, like rest on the laurels of like a degree I got like more than 25 years ago. But I really feel like my experience at MassArt and was kind of the training board, the the absolute preparation I could do to take anything on, basically.
Yeah, the interesting thing about, when you mentioned SIM or like Studio for Interrelated Media, the thing that I reflect on a lot is that it didn't teach you like it like taught you how to learn, basically like
Mm-hmm.
whereas a lot of majors and practices are like you learn woodworking or painting or whatever. You learn this sort of like trade end of it
Right.
because it was such like a sink or swim kind of environment. Just have being adaptable and constantly having to be like presented with work that was like very outside your wheelhouse. Like I had never really
Yeah.
encountered like, coming out of high school in the suburbs, it's not like I had encountered like performance art or like, oh, this major has like a nude person. Like there's like always someone naked. Right? And and it's interesting now because I think going forward into the future, as a lot of natives type jobs are getting
Hmm.
threatened by AI and stuff, the main skill set people really want to have is like editorial skill set and
Hmm.
managing people
Hmm.
skills, just ability to like sift through vast amounts of crap to find the
Hmm.
good stuff. And I
Yeah.
think our major kind of was that. It was like a lot of crap, and every once in a while someone would like rise out of it.
Yep. Yep. That's like such a great way to put it. So tell us more a little bit about the movie. We talked a little bit, I guess, about like how you got into making the film and your collaborators. But yeah, for people that don't know, and the trailer is very informative as to what it's all about. But from what I can take is like overview, having not seen the movie, is that lots of people seem to claim credit for the coming up with even the phrasing, but also the melody and the samples, and this became an obsession of yours enough that you did a quasi TED talk about it. So how give the people a taste of this.
Yeah, it kind of goes back actually to when I was in Boston, coming out of the Berkman Center at Harvard. There was a lot of interesting conversations around like copyright, intellectual property law, people like Loris Lessig and I think it's Yochai Benkler, all these people. And
Hmm.
that world of people sort of crossed over with like the nightlife culture and like dance culture that I was sort of part of. And it really planted this like thing in me to be very curious about IP law and copyright. And the Who Let the Dogs Out story really like I read something on a Wikipedia page for Who Let the Dogs Out that was missing a last name. I just thought, oh, this is funny. I like Wikipedia. I'll solve this quick, or I'll update this page because I was unemployed
Hmm.
at the time. I'm like, this is what I'm doing with my time. I'm updating the Who Let the Dogs Out wiki. But the
Hmm.
person I speak with said a few things that contradicted other stuff in the wiki. And my sort of like,
Interesting.
my kind of like copyright radar went up, and I was like, oh, this
Hmm.
is a cool story. So I like found a couple of the old like legal cases and realized that they had all like settled out of court. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. There's never been like rulings. And then just I don't know. I got like a journalism bug, and I was like, I'm gonna keep asking people who let the dogs out until someone gives me a satisfactory answer. And to this day, nobody has. But along the way of
Mm.
like asking that ridiculous question over and over again, I was able to trace back, yeah, and hopefully give attribution to some
Hmm.
artists who previously kind of unknown. It's yeah. I mean, what I always tell people is like, you don't have to be a fan of like the song. The movie is
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm like Who Let the Dogs Out neutral at this point because I've heard it so many
Yeah.
times,
Right. Right.
but it's less about that song and it's more that song as a stand-in for like most art, I think.
Hmm. Well, that's really awesome. So I noticed there's some talking head shots. So you did a lot of interviews for the movie.
Yeah, we did a mix up. We shot my live show at the Bell House in Brooklyn, and then we went to Seattle. I got to take like a private tour of the Mariners Stadium, Safeco Field. That was
Oh,
amazing.
nice.
We went Yeah, and the guy Greg Green, who's the head of marketing for the Mariners, like,
Hmm.
set it up. That guy was great. He, like, put me on the Jumbotron and stuff during the
Oh
game.
my God.
It was amazing. We went to London because I found this company called CryoFlux that specializes in data preservation, and
Mm.
part of this journey was obtaining some very, very old floppy disks. So I was like, well, we got to go to London where like this great data preservation expert is. And he helped us like rip the original contents off some floppy disks. The film crew went to the Bahamas. I went to Jacksonville, Florida, to Toronto. Um, yeah, just kind of Chicago, yeah, all over the place.
That's so cool. I was going to say what I did notice from the trailer also is it looked like there was some, I'm very familiar with Audacity and Logic. It looked like there was some forensic matching of the samples to see who had what and stuff like that. So that must have been fun to dive
Yeah, we
into.
did some, yeah, I would call that like hobbyist forensics, but just like, lining the waveforms up. In copyright, there are these two things that come up a lot: access and similarity. And when you're talking about
Hmm.
similarity, two people can just say, oh, that sounds kind of the same to me. So there's like that top layer. And then if you say, those things sound the same to me, and when I look at the waveforms, like the BPMs are exactly the same, the barks are in the same kind of pattern. I preface, I'm not a lawyer, but I think we matched up some waveforms and they looked very similar. So
Well, that is so cool. Well, what a fascinating subject, really. And like you said, like, we grew up with 90s hip hop and just like, even if like, yeah, you said you're neutral to the song, but like, I think of a lot when I think of if I get a copyright strike on YouTube or something, I think of like Paul's Boutique, like that is like I think they eventually cleared all those samples and or that was something, the story behind that is that they were allowed to do Paul's Boutique, but you could not make Paul's Boutique logistically today.
yeah, there's like a joke that copyright is the right to be held up in court until you're broke. And I think probably
Yeah.
one of the reasons I think a group like Beastie Boys, what is allowed, it's like, well, if there's a lot of momentum behind an album and the label thinks it's going to do X amount of dollars, if the legal fees for either clearing things or like retroactively paying lawyers or whatever, if that amount of money is, say, like the same as you would have spent on like marketing or something like that, you know,
Hmm.
as long as that net profit is big enough, it's worth the risk for them. So that's why, like, and these are issues that are much more difficult for smaller labels. And in the documentary, there's a case or two of, yeah, folks who are just like smaller and didn't pursue litigation just because it seemed out of reach, both, just
Yeah.
in terms of all resources, not just money, but like the time to make your case.
Hmm. Hmm. Wow. So this is all explored in your documentary,
Yep.
and it's coming up soon here. It's next Tuesday, the 22nd of
Yep.
July here in Boston.
Yep. It's going to be at the Alamo Drafthouse. And I'm going to be there for the screening in conversation with Boston Hassel afterwards. So it'll be fun. It's a very
Great.
it's a lighthearted 61-minute documentary. Yeah, and I'm excited because it it came out like just before COVID hit. So the
Hmm.
movie came out. We opened at South by Southwest, and I was like, "Oh, this is so great! This is so much fun." I was like, "I'm gonna go bring it to all these other cities," and the world, got put on hold. So it's really, because Boston has such a special place in my heart. It's very nice to finally do a screening up there and see some old friends and meet new people too.
That is so cool, and congratulations. Yeah, we all did have to put a lot of projects on hold, and yeah, like that was the biggest thing. Like, a lot of like big mainstream movies like got pushed to streaming or stuff like that. Hopefully now, and this is it's celebrating like the 25th anniversary of version of a released version of this song.
Yeah, the Baha Men version came out on July 26th, 2000. So on that date, I'm screening also at the Providence Public Library. If if you got fans and
Excellent.
listeners down here in Providence, and there's an exhibition up also at the PPL that will be up until August 15th, and that's just like 300. It's like all of the ephemera and things I collected to make the movie, all
Hmm.
the research. So it's like hundreds of records and shirts and toys and It's just a lot of Who Let the Dogs Out.
Well, that is absolutely amazing, Ben. It was so great to catch up with you. We'll get this podcast episode out, and we'll put all the links and the artwork there for people to check out. And congratulations and welcome back to New England. And I hope to see you very soon. Have such a great screening in Providence and Boston, and we'll see where Who Lets the Dog Out, the movie, takes you. I'm so incredibly happy for your success, and it's great to connect again, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's so nice to see you and to talk to you. I'm glad we're still friends after all this time, and you're still doing cool creative stuff for the arts in Boston. So I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Oh, and now why don't you tell people where they can find your information, if it's Instagram or wherever we can tell people to
Yeah,
follow you?
I'm not on any social media, but
Okay.
just bensisto.com is like the place where things live.
Smart. You're smart.
I don't know.
And you just,
I wish, it's like I'm the problem. Like I know the algorithms are designed to be addictive. I've tried to have accounts where I'm like, I'm only going to use this for like research, or I just want to know what's going on. And 3 days later, I'm like tweeting at Stephen Miller, like, you piece of shit. It just like,
yeah.
it brings out like the worst in me. And I would rather just, I don't know. I'm happier without social media.
Well, and on that note, you continue to inspire me, my friend. So thank you so much for being here. And I can't wait to see the movie.
Great, man. Thank you again.